So I was born in 2004, the year Season 8 was released. Like, my parents did not even know Thomas even existed until, 2004. I find that kind of mind-boggling in a way, considering Thomas was, so popular in, the 90s and still into the 2000s. I don't know. And Steven versus Diesels, It's Great to Be an Engine, and Milkshake Muddle were most of the Thomas DVDs that I had were just hit era. Yeah. But these weren't the first time, these DVDs were not the first time I'd seen Thomas or even watched Thomas. No. The first Thomas DVD I ever watched, and the thing that introduced me into this whole realm of talking trains and stuff, was James and the Red Balloon. So yeah, James and the Red Balloon was released in July 2003 on VHS and DVD by Anchor Bay Entertainment, and then at some point in 2009 it was re-released by Lionsgate with an updated cover. This one contains 6 episodes from the 6th season, and we're going to be talking about them. Starting off with James and the Red Balloon, the first episode of Thomas that I ever watched. Now, I really enjoyed this one as a kid because, it's James, and the idea of it, I just really liked it. But now, 20 years after, or 19, however many years after seeing it for the first time, I still think it's pretty good. It's not perfect, of course. It is a bit strange how Thomas and James are a bit flanderized, but everything else about it, it's pretty solid. Alec Baldwin gave a tiny bit of a shit in this episode, and I was worried, and the color palette during the first shot did feel oh, just look at that. All the life has been sucked out, but everything else was still really good. Now, Twin Trouble, I thought it was actually solid. It's actually a great episode if you watch the UK dub. But this is a US DVD, so I can't talk about the UK dub. I gotta talk about the American dub. Yes, everyone has just buried it to the ground at this point that Alec Baldwin did not give Donald and Douglas Scottish accents. Which, yes, this is, it is frustrating. But you know what? Tug was right. Yes, Baldwin isn't as good in here, unlike Season 5, but he's still really nice to listen to. There is just some time, throughout this release, I was not oh, it's Alec Baldwin here. No, I was alright, he still sounds nice to the ear. And, yeah, I thought this was a really good episode, and I'm so glad everyone's been saying, that this episode is not the decline of Donald and Douglas's characters. It's just, CGI series onwards. It's all they do. Bigger, 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 bigger. So these 2 episodes I liked. Can't say the same about the next 4. Edward the Really Useful Engine just sucks. Seriously. Edward is barely a main player in his own episode, which isn't new for Edward episodes, but 2 lines. That's all he gets, 2 lines. And then the way the episode just folds out is just, why? You expect me to believe that Gordon can't start back up on his hill trying, yes, he has the wait, hold on. I'm kind of having a little thinking. I didn't think about this. It was just when I saw the episode, I was just he could do it. He could still push Duck's freight train. We all know Gordon, Gordon is still, very strong engine. And yes, it really does suck that the characters have regressed back to, thinking, Edward is an old, useless steam pot or something. Yeah, there was just, this did not do it. Although I did like Baldwin's still like Baldwin. Also, like of all the characters Baldwin has done over the course of his time as narrator, he well, he still did pretty good as Gordon. Whether it's like the big kind of dumb idiot voice in season 5 or like this one in season 6, he still did a pretty nice job. World's Strongest Engine also just kind of blows. People are saying like, oh, this is like on the same level as Pop Goes the Diesel. No, to me, I think this is just Pop Goes the Diesel, but dumber. Like, what made Pop Goes the Diesel, like, what I really liked about it was that, yes, Diesel was kind of a bit of a buffoon on freight cars, but he was still a presence at the same time. Like, he was all about, like, we Diesels don't need to know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary. Like, Diesel was just so well written back then. Now Diesel's just a dumb idiot all the way through. All he just wants to do now is just shows that he's stronger than Henry and that he could pull more freight cars. Whereas in Pop Goes the Diesel, he's kind of like wanting to showcase like how like revolutionary he is. And something else that bugs me, and this also bugs me for like a couple episodes. So in the Salty Secret video, I talked about Fat Hat's crack jacket. This is something that was also delved deep into in the Best of the Worst of Thomas, which I highly recommend checking out. It's such a great series. But alright, so we know that the crack jacket was used throughout most of season 6, but there are some instances where Sir Topham Hatt has his normal jacket. Salty Secret is the only episode of season 6 where Sir Topham Hatt, like where the crack jacket is not present in like any of the Fat Controller's appearances. But what's more frustrating about this, they aren't consistent with it. Alright, so let's take this episode and the next episode, Rusty Saves the Day. In like the start of the episode, we see that the Fat Controller has his correct jacket. And then later on in the episode, they show him with the incorrect jacket. They clearly have two models of Sir Topham Hatt, but they still continue to use the crack jacket. I'm sorry I'm just getting so upset, but it's just upsetting when we know that they have like the one with the correct jacket, but they chose to use the crack jacket. Maybe I guess they only brought in the correct jacket for like reshoots or something. I don't know, but it's still baffling. And oh man. Let's go down the bad episodes. Let's continue on with the bad episodes. Here is Rusty Saves the Day. Alright. Again, this is another episode where people have like saying that the worst thing about it is that it fucks with the continuity. And yes, that really does. Like, and also what's more mind-boggling about this is that this episode was pitched by David Mitton, the man who's been around since the beginning of the show, who knew like the characters. He knew how the characters should act, especially in the episodes that he and Britt wrote in season 5. Oh man, I guess this could also be another instance of like, because Mitton around this time in the Ghislaine era, Mitton was not given any creative freedom, and I guess this was like one that the studio like Ghislaine was like saying, all right, this is what it has to be like, but I could be wrong. Maybe Mitton was just, who knows? But yes, like the whole episode is just, it's a complete mess, and it completely messes up Sodor's history. Like, why would the Fat Controller even want to, like, close down Skarloey's railway? Why do they even allow the railway to get all messed up at all? And then Duncan, thankfully, this one is just slightly better than the last 3, but it's still not a good episode. I will admit, like, the Duncan, I still like Duncan's props. I do like the slate cars, and I'll admit the crash is pretty nice, but it still falls into like regressed characters and having the characters just kind of act untrue of themselves just so a crash or a gimmick can happen, which is basically just season 6 in a whole. However, going through all this, I knew there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light at the end of the tunnel was Down by the Docks. One of the best Thomas and Friends songs ever. Like, lately I've been listening to this song over and over and over and over and over again. And it has not gotten old. I think that's just a testament to how good the song is. And I just love how industrial it feels. Yes, I also do think it's kind of strange how this one was like not on Salty Secret, but you know what? I'm kind of gonna let it slide, you know? I think just for the fact that this is just a good song, and it's like, just makes me like, I just love it, like, yes. So overall, like, also something else, for all like the bad stuff on here, one thing I noticed throughout all the episodes that helps carry this in a way are Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell's themes and little jingles or melodies or cues. Yes. Like, I was still just like, oh, it's been a while since I've heard these, and I didn't know this little thing was in it. That was my reaction to like some moments in the episodes when I paid attention to the music. So yeah, O'Donnell and Campbell, they still go hard on the score, even when the seasons can kind of vary, even in seasons that kind of vary in quality. But overall, James and the Red Balloon, it's bad. I've kind of had to come to conclusion on that. But you know what? For as bad as it is, for like having some of the worst season 6 episodes on here, I still kind of hold this release close to my heart. I mean, this was my introduction of Thomas. This was the first time I ever got to like see Thomas at all. I was introduced into the island of Sodor, and liking Thomas has kind of helped shape me into the human I am today. So I kind of have to like thank James and the Red Balloon for doing that, and I'm also just very nostalgic for it. So yeah, not a great DVD, but it really did help kind of shape me into what I am today, so that's all I can say for that.